been this unrelenting voice in my head. We all have this voice. It's the right or wrong voice. And a lot of times that voice guides us into comfort. And my voice guided me into comfort a lot.
I need you to listen to this.
I heard my whole life saying, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? Nah, man, we gotta go over here. We gotta go over here to the rock pile, over in the fucking corner, where nobody's at. That's where Victor's at. We're over in that corner. So this voice was giving me all these answers. Now, I wasn't a real smart kid growing up, but I had this crazy voice in my head saying,
listen to
is where the fucking answers are. And I wouldn't listen to it because over there was pain. Over there was me looking in the mirror. Over there was me being accountable for all these things that went through my life. Even though people put them on me, it's now mine to own. And I didn't want to go over there by myself, but I had to. And this voice was guiding me there. It's God, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it was in me. Life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. You play on yourself, man. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. And the shit I was telling myself was so fucked up, it was so wrong, it was so misguided, and other people start to write that dialogue for you also. And it starts to be what you say to yourself every single day. And I started creating a whole nother warfare, a whole nother battle started becoming. I was like, oh, hang on a second, guys. You have these tools. You have these tools. Your life was basically the perfect grounds for training for where you need to go in your life. All the beatings, all the bullying, all the, you going through learning disabilities, all the struggles, it was the absolute perfect training ground for you to go to where you need to go. And that's how I started looking at my life versus woe is me, poopy pants, kicking rock down the street mentality. It was, this hooked you right the fuck up. He hooked you right up, man, with the perfect place. You were training. You had the advantage of everybody else versus, my God, they're so above me. They came from a great family. Mom and dad love them. They didn't have to learn. They didn't stutter. They didn't struggle. Nah, man. Your struggle is what made you who you are now. Self-discipline is everything. And if you don't have it, I don't look at you right because I know you're capable of more. It's not discipline so much for me. It's all on you.
You have to believe in yourself because no one else is going to do it.
It was big.
But to believe in a few of your countrymen, that's next level. I'm on here to do a service to my countrymen, and not just my countrymen. I have English, Irish, Scottish, Bosnian, Australian, and shout out to Australia and one of my best mods being Scott. Oh shit, he's barely used there. If you're not sub to Straightjacket, guys, can you do it? Now listen, I'm gonna ask you to sub to Scott in 21 days. Like I said, I just need 28 days with a few of these people, and if they're under 50 subs, and by me adding the name of their channel in my description here, I'm all for that. I want to see loads of little channels get to 50. Here, once you get to 50, you open your own, right? And that'll be my payment. That'll be my reward, seeing you grow.
I'm trying to create a better me, so hopefully people who are hearing this are taking it the right way, can say, I can run a mile. It ain't about running 205 fucking miles, doing 4,000 being in the city. It ain't about all that shit. Shit doesn't matter. I want you to see how fucking far you can go. And that's all it's about, yourself. And that's where it all comes from. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period. And so I had to man up. And I said, the first thing I gotta start doing is facing every fucking fear I have. No matter what the fuck it is, man. And these things would keep me up. And no one, people who are hearing this shit, they will never really understand and grasp when you face these things and so many things, how they keep you up and haunt you at night. I had two options. To either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 fucking years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed. So I started calling recruiters up. I said, I'm gonna go be a fucking Navy SEAL. Most people are missing something because they don't know who they are. They never examine themselves. They've never done this experiment on themselves. The lab rat, we're all lab rats, but you're also the scientist. You create
You're an
your
Arsenal
self.
fan, bro. I can't
Most
help
people are
you.
missing something because there's
I'm
so
a
much
Mexican Bob
trapped
Marley.
in there. I don't even want to say potential. I think that's the word used out too much too. There's so much in you that God or whatever the hell you believe in, or if you're an atheist, in you that you have not unlocked.
Lee Marvin Hitchman,
God,
you've
I feel
left
like
your
I'm
hat
missing
here.
something. Yeah, because it's about 75% of you
How are you,
is still
Jono?
fucking in there, still chained
Well,
up.
listen to me.
Because you just.
You know the way I was talking to you last night, bro, and I'll speak to you on Instagram. Well, Carlton, a friend sent me that. You know, yeah. Shout out to Lena. I'm sure Lena sent me a Tottenham shirt. You know, a few of me mods are very generous and they've sent me props, like, you know, like for instance, look, come here, look. It could be something as silly as that. A little book, you know, a cap, a postcard. It's like saying, hello, Jude, how are you? But like I said, as long as I know you're real, it's like I believe I'm the fella to do this job, being putting a few Irishmen together, and not just Irishmen, Englishmen, Scottish people, women, no, and a couple of Scotsmen as well. We have Australians and all here. You know, my mods are international, they're from everywhere, you know, and I have a good team. On YouTube, like, I don't like toxic shit. Do you understand? It's like, and I try keep me lives as positive as I can. Uh, because people look up to me, you know. A lot of people on Instagram reach out to me and say, you know what, bro, see, because of your video you made, you've given me the courage to talk about my mental health. And I'm like, which video, mate? I've made nearly fucking 20,000 of them. You know, which one? Be a bit more. Like I said, this channel, my old channel there, it took me 4 long years to get 600 subs. My old channel there, look, Fighting Back United, FBU. And the way it is, you see, when I'm dead, and believe me, we're all gonna die, my children have about 30,000 videos of me being an absolute moron. They've got about 20,000 live streams they can pick. So, I remember when I was a kid, I lit a fire when I was 4. My mum went down to get nappies for my little sister, and I woke up and I went in the bedroom. I woke up, right, because I heard the door close over, and my brother at the time was 2 years old, and my little sister was 7 months old. And I found a box of matches in the kitchen. I went into the bedroom. We lived in Fatima Mansions. I think it was Block F. I lit a match under the bed and the whole bed went up. And by the time I crawled back out from underneath the bed, I was on fire. I tried to grab my sister's cotton. It's like the two of them are asleep, and I was 4-year-old, and I just turned and I seen a milk crate in the hall. And I ran and turned it upside down and stood on it, opened the door, and I got blasted onto the balcony, you know, on fire, you know, and this man ran down the balcony and put his coat on me, and I could see him trying to get in, but the flames were coming out the door. It was a 4th floor end apartment, end flat, bars on the window, you know, and because of that, all my life, I've imploded, you know, because of that, as a child and grown up, even as a man, I felt responsible for it because even though I was a child, I did it, you know, and because of that, my mother ended up getting sectioned for a long time in hospital because she went down to get nappies for her 2 babies, and when she come back up, the place was blazing. I was on the balcony. She tried to get in. Like I said, I still hear the ambulances and the fire brigades in my head. you know, and it took me nearly 4 decades to get past it and say to myself, I'm a dad. My father got a phone call at his job that day in Jervis Street Hospital to say, there's been a fire at your house, you need to go to the hospital. My dad didn't even know that his 2 kids were dead. You know, it was meant to be me in that fire, but for some reason God tested me from a very young age, you know, and like I said, until you go through it, you know, I don't like people that patronise you, you know. You ain't fucking there, mate. You can't say you know how I feel, or, and here's the thing, because of that, that's why I started taking drugs from a young age. I couldn't forgive myself, and I was my biggest critic, you know. And then about 3 years ago, I got the strength to forgive myself. I met someone amazing who ended up is giving me a son, a daughter, stepdaughter. I'm going to be a granddad again very soon. You know, things like that. You know, I'm living the fucking dream, because it's like I know so many lads that aren't here anymore, and I wish they could see their kids' progress, you know. Like, I held a lot of resentment to a few people in Cherry Orchard because they're well-known people, some of the biggest villains in the country, according to Paul Williams. And it's like they're okay that their sons are now selling drugs. Do you understand? It's like, and I'm thinking, listen, and I'll tell you, I don't care whether you like me, right? But as a father, I look ahead, I see it, and then I say it. This is why, like I said, people that know me know what I'm like. I'm very switched on, and I feel things. You know, I can feel people's emotions and shit like that. I've got complex PTSD. I'm certified psychotic, and I've got survivor's guilt. Now, all my life, because of that, my brother used to come to me on fire. My little sister used to come to me on fire. You know, I was put on Ritalin at 8 years old. And after the fire, I started lighting fires. And you can ask Harpo O'Driscoll, he gave me a nickname. Firebug was one of them. Ask him. He gave me that nickname. Firebug. If you want to find Jude, look for smoke. But most of my life, I couldn't forgive myself for it, because it didn't have to be an anniversary or a birthday for my mother to get upset over the kids. But here's the killer part. Every photograph, my sister was 7 months old. Every photograph we had of Angelique got burnt in that fire. So all my life, I've not known what she looked like. Neither did me. Well, my ma did. I just couldn't remember. And then I had a dream about 8 months ago. And it's crazy because I like fishing. And this individual, a woman, come to me and told me to follow her. And in this dream, she brought me to a peg, told me to cast me rod out, and looked at me and told me everything would be okay. You know what? When I woke up, I had to have a good think about it for a few days, and I'm convinced that was my little sister. You know, and I had a very similar fucking vivid dream about me brother, and he brought me to the exact same spot. It was a big fuck off lake with loads of pegs on, and I'm there on my own. I'm looking to me left, Jono's not fucking there. I'm looking to me right, I'm like, where's Finn gone? Like, Jordan, this is meant to be an excursion. You know, for fuck's sake. But all jokes aside, it's like I've had a lot of fucked up dreams in my lifetime. Now, you can't help what you dream of. You know, like, I've got complex PTSD, right? At 14 years old, me friend bled out on me in the apartment lanes being Key Collins. Fact. Anybody will tell you who was there that night. My Pringle jumper and his Pringle jumper were the same. It's like I didn't even know until I got out and he's laying on the floor. You know, like that's proper trauma, right? Raymond Vickers fell out of a concord tree right next to me. Les Kershaw, Darren Kershaw, Pat Maguire, a couple of the Cunninghams, and he fell out of this fucking tree and he hit he broke his fall with his head, and his head opened like an egg. You know, it's like, I swear to God, man, the amount of my pals that I seen in a fucking... Listen, and I'll tell you, I went to see Keith Collins, yeah. I'm looking over his coffin, yeah, and I can hear him saying to me, Jude, you're too late. And he wasn't even a close friend like the lads on me corner. We were friends. We all went together that night. You know, and it's like the geezer that done it was from Sheriff Street, and his name was Mick R. Wallace. And when I was in prison, Scott, one of the lads that were there that night that killed my friend, I don't believe in coincidence, Scott. He come to my cell to haunt me, and I knew who he was. You know, and I dealt with him. Now, all this guy, the first fella that come through the door, Scott, all he had to do was to box me in the corner. The geezer must have been about 18 stone, bro. He controlled me with one arm. But he decided to throw water at me, and bro, the rules when you're locked up like an animal, you'll fucking behave like one if need be, because prison is a fucking jungle, and there's fucking tigers all around you and lions. You know, and you're a gazelle. You're food. That's what you are. Everyone's looking at you, watching you. You know, but like I said, it's a learning curve. You learn from it, you know. Like, but I remember having a moral dilemma. Being in the apartment lanes the night that my friend died. He said a couple of things to me. At the funeral, his mother come over to me and asked me, Jewett, I know you, Teresa Brady, and a couple of others were there beside him. Did he say anything to me? What, Scott? What did you do? The geezer said to me, bro, I was holding his hand and he said to me, I'm dying. I want me ma. Like, what do I do? Tell his ma, yeah, he begged for you. But it was on my mind and I kept dreaming about it. I couldn't get it out of my head because it's like, if I'd have been there 5 minutes later, maybe the two of us would have gotten stabbed. But we'd have fighting three of them. Two of us against three. That's a fair fight. You know, but put your knife down. Now look, two, bang! You know, now what? It's like, but it didn't go that way. And I got out and he was after being stabbed in the chest 3 times. And we didn't know it, obviously, until a year later, or whatever, autopsy results. He was stabbed 3 times in the chest, but one of them pierced his heart. And this is why I'm terrified of knives. You know, I'd sooner someone shoot me than stab me. Hang on. I love you, baby. But like I said, like in life, sometimes God takes people away from you to test you. I truly believe that. Like, like I said, I don't understand God's reasons. I'm not going to question it, but what God makes you wake up one morning when you're for lighting a match and your brother and sister dying that day? So God had a plan for me early. You know, he wanted to test the water early. That's the way I look at it. You know, and he took a lot of people away from me, like who I fucking love so much. Like me granny. Let's talk about loss. Me fucking granny Knowles, my mother's mother, was a legend. My granny raised a lot of Irish men and Irish women, you know, and I never got to meet me other granny, me dad's mother. I'm glad I didn't. Uh, but me mum's mother learnt me, you know, my granny was God fearing. You know, if I swore in the house, I'd get clatter. All right, I'll put it to you another way. After the fire, after I did that in 1979, and the flat went up and my brother and sister died in it. Rest in peace to Daniel MacDonald Jr. and Angelique MacDonald. Do you understand? But after the fire, guys, I had to move in with me nan because we'd nowhere else to go because the flat was burned to a crisp, you know. So we had to move into me nanny's for nearly 2 years in Bluebell Flats, you know, and then we ended up getting our own flat, like 102 Bernard Curtis house, and we were in the block next to me granny, you know. But me granny, I shouldn't say this, but this is what she told me. Me and me cousin Mandy were our favourite two grandkids. And that's on me baby's life, right? Now, I don't know whether she was just saying that, but I believed her, you know. You see, I'll tell you about my granny, yeah. She was God-fearing and she was only a little midget. But I tell you what, she put the fear of God into me because my granny was, you know, she'd raised sons and daughters already in Ballyferma, and I was her grandson, and I had to live with her because of the fire, yeah. And at the time, my uncle, he was preparing to go to Lebanon, you know, with the peacekeeping force, UNICEF, you know. Aid wasn't getting in to Beirut, so they had to send loads of Irish soldiers over there to try assist them with their duties and, you know, like escort convoys with aid and all that, right? But me granny learnt me a few things, right? And whilst I lived at me granny's, it's like there was a few incidents with me dad when he had a bit much to drink and what have you. And then when we finally got the place across the road in Bluebell Flats, I must have been about 8. And me ma and dad moved down me granny's and into this flat, and it's like I was always close to me gran, you know, when I was a kid. And it's like me Uncle Christy, like when he left me with his pigeons and everything, you know, his loft to run. While he's away, he had about 100 pigeons. I was about 50 when he come back, you know. But like I said, trauma and stuff like that, like if you've got post-traumatic stress disorder, listen to me, you need therapy. You need to speak about it because bottling it and burying it, that's what I did for 4 decades because I blamed myself. You know, I woke up one morning when I was 4, I found a box of matches, I went in the bedroom, I lit a fucking match, and the rest is history. That day, every photograph we had of my little sister got burnt in that fire. It destroyed me mother. Me ma left us not even for 5 minutes. Fatima Mansion's flats. At the bottom is a shop van that sells cigarettes, milk, nappies, everything in a way, you know. And me ma just went down to get nappies because we were sleeping, right? It wasn't even 5 minutes down the stairs and back. And I woke up and it's a mad what 2 or 3 minutes can do. 2 or 3 minutes caused my brother and sister to die that day. And God picked me to piss off, or he picked me at a young age to lose your brother and sister and believe that it's your fault. You see, because when you're a kid, I lit a match on my house at 4 and the flat went up and my brother and sister died in it. Imagine having to live with that all your life. You know, them coming to you on fire saying, bro, open the door. Open the fucking door. You know, my brother was 2 years, 3 months, and my little sister Angelique was 7 months old. You know, and it destroyed me, ma. My ma got sent to Brendan's. Like she got sectioned that day. She lost her mind. I can still hear her screaming. But she coped with it. My mother was a soldier, a survivor, and she come out of Brendan's, and me family put their arm around her. You know, because as you can imagine, if you lose 2 children in such a tragedy, you know, like, and because of it, my ma was a coping schizophrenic. My ma lost it, you know, and she never forgave herself. And when she died, that come on to me, you know, yeah, that come on to me, all that guilt, the weight of it. I couldn't deal with it. That was another reason why I wanted to end my life. And when you're taking meds, stupid things go in your head. And when you're taking things that you've no business taking, like cocaine, when you're on medication, like I've come so fucking far, you know. It's like all the experiences I've had in my life, you know. It's like me dad taught me how to be tough. I never seen my dad cry. Me dad told me, he said, men don't cry. You know, I don't know what he was trying to prove, but, you know, like me and me dad, we had a mad relationship when I was a kid. He used to beat the shit out of me. And my granny made me swear on the Bible that I'd never become a woman beater. You know, alcohol turns men into women beaters. And my granny, she told me my granddad used to smack her around until my uncles grew up. And my uncle Jimmy, my uncle Jamesy said to me granddad, my granddad boxed in the army. Do you understand? Years ago, my granddad was a tough guy, right? Do you understand? It's like my granddad raised his family in Ballyfermot. 4 boys and 4 girls. How are you, mate? Mr. Cy Bennett, I have a favour to ask you, bro, right? Listen, if you can sub to them people's channels right there, I'll get everyone to sub to yours. We're trying to build a little community here, you know, for the Irish, the English, the Scottish, the Welsh, and the world. You know, but anyway, now what I'm doing, guys, I'm going out with me family on the canal. I'm going fishing with me son, you know. Shout out to Jono, you're going fishing with your son. Listen to me. When I was a kid, I always wanted me dad to take me fishing. I wanted him to take me to Old Trafford. He never did. I said, you know, everything my dad didn't do with me, I'm going to do with my son. Yeah, me uncle learnt me how to ride a bike, not me dad, me uncle Fran. My dad was too busy working. You know, my dad was a fucking warrior. You know, he went out to support his family and he didn't complain about it. You know, he did things the right way. He said to me, here, as long as you've got eyes, arms, legs, you know, my dad was ashamed of me when he found out I was selling drugs. Do you understand? And me and my father had a lot of conversations before he died and when he was alive. What his plans were, he wanted to happen when he died. And I'll never get that one back. But like I said, one thing he gave me is pride and principles, Finn, and manners. And because of that, I'd like to apologise to my audience for losing me shit yesterday, but that will happen again. I'm going fishing on the canal with my son, and me lovely missus. You know, we're going to hold hands going to canal. Bab! Oh, we're going to hold hands walking down the canal. We're going to hold hands. Yeah, why not? I'm going to be romantic. Okay, then. No fucking chance. Well, then tell you what, book, get 2 fucking tickets for the price you said last night and I'll think about it. Yeah, but you won't bring 50 fucking cent out, will they? No. Bastards. Now listen, guys, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. I'm a certified psychopath with complex PTSD and survivor's guilt. And I've got God on my side. Here, you know, God is a red, right? Here, look, it says it there, look. Jesus in red. God is a Man United fan, so here, God, we need your help next season. Shout out to all the football fans that come in my channel. Let me tell you this, even if you don't like me, you've got a football team. And like I said, everybody's welcome in here. I'm trying to build a community and it's working. You know, it's like, and my way fucking works. And I've proved that. You know, I have a great team of lads. You know, like of Pablo, of Finn, of Jono, of Jake, of Spencer, of Mousy, of Scott, Straightjacket all the way in Australia, Lee Marvin Hitchman, Mr. Ron Rab, Jerry Andrew, Conan Solway, Benji Donny, BGT, Rob Lee, ALD, Mr. Hoax, Ronan Callie, Tim Leeds, Gibbo, Top G, Luke, Sean Wayne, Lucifer, Jockney, Bosnian, Lena Ammo, Lou, Don, Christine, Eve, Precious Saint, and Phoenix. Free Ireland. May I fuck off? Congratulations to Liverpool for winning the Premier League. But anyway, guys, listen, I have to go. I'd like to thank you all for coming in. And as you know, right, the bigger picture is, yeah, uniting the clans being channeled. And I believe that we need a few more Irishmen like myself coming on, helping other people get a few subs in order for them to go live. And by the time this exercise is finished, here, there's 3 or 4 of them on the list that are flying at the minute. But you see, everybody else, I'm going to do everything in my power to help these people get to the first 50 so they can open their own fucking YouTube live and say, here, shout out to all the English channels that run the narrative. We are coming. The paddies are coming. Oh, I'm building an army of them. And not just Irishmen, men. You know, it's like at the end of the day, everybody knows the rules in here. Don't be disrespectful to anybody, and nobody will be disrespectful to you. Listen, I'm going by what the book says. Do unto others as they do to you. Yeah, it's like, the way I see things is, you know, when Finn and myself start talking, I've seen a bit of myself and Finn, and I'm like, you know what? You see, Finn could have a good channel, and I believed in him. You know, I asked everybody in the community to help me. Help me help Finn. And you know what? Only a couple of people answered the call. Shout out to Sean Wayne. You know, and if you have a YouTube channel under 50 subs and you need help with your channel and we get along, let me know and I'll share your shit, right? Because we're building a fucking army of people here and I get on with 95% of the YouTube community. Reason being, because number one, I've had moments where I've lost my shit, but I've never called anybody out here. I'm not on here for that. But you're interfering with family time. I'm going out to feed the ducks, to go fishing, me son and me missus, you know. So I'll see you all this afternoon. Now, guys, listen, Finn normally goes live if I'm not live, or Mousy. Jono I hope you have a good day with your son. And remember what I told you last night, Jono. One of the best gifts you can give to your son is to take him fishing and help him catch a fish and let him bring it in himself. And that's where it happens, you know. And like I said, quality time with your family can be a wee out. I'll see you later. I love you. Mwah.